It's honestly almost impressive at this point how much Nintendo seems to want to put the message out there that they just hate their fans. If you're unaware, the Big N has shut down another Smash Bros. Tournament. The upcoming Riptide event in Ohio was set to include Project Plus in their lineup of tournaments, which is built on top of the popular Project M. This gives you a Smash Bros. Experience that has a unique set of balance changes, quality of life improvements. The game can actually be played on a Wii, by the way, with a copy of Brawl and an SD card. But as most of you surely know by now, Nintendo, they can't stand this stuff, so the Riptide organizers got a call yesterday that resulted in, you guessed it, no tournaments for Project Plus being run at the event. Not only that, they make it clear that the game won't even be set up anywhere on the premises. It's like, I would have loved to hear that call. Was Nintendo like, and don't you play the game? Don't you even think about the game, or our ninjas are coming for you? I mean, it's just so ridiculous. But yeah, you did it, Nintendo. You ruined fun again. Congratulations. Yeah, if you remember, the last time we did this whole rigmarole was over an online tournament. During the peak of COVID, obviously with the whole pandemic thing, even still, it's really hard to get people to gather all in one place to have like an in-person tournament. You know, EVO just happened, all online. So a tournament of this kind was only possible with online mods. You know, especially games, Melee, Brawl, they don't have online support, even Brawl anymore. So yeah, it's up to the fans to make these games playable in this way. But yeah, Nintendo couldn't let that happen either. They sent them a cease and desist. So the online tournament, during a pandemic, could not proceed. That was pretty bad, but this, I'd say, is even worse, because Riptide is set to be an in-person event that takes place about 2 weeks from now, meaning players have booked flights, hotel rooms. The event organizers worked with a hotel, in fact, to reserve a block of rooms for players participating in these tournaments. You know, they're tweeting out like, hey, here's the shuttle schedule to get to and from the airport. This has been in the works for months, and Nintendo, just yesterday, comes in at the last minute and totally screws everyone who is coming to play this game. And sure, it's not like this is the only game being played at the event, but for the people who were actually going specifically for Project Plus, yeah, they're screwed. Like I said, it's not even going to be set up anywhere now, so you can't even play the game for fun. And for what? I see the same worthless excuses that we always see every time this stuff comes up with Nintendo. Oh, they need to do it to protect their IP. Except it's always only Nintendo that does this shit. Oh, well, it's a Japanese thing. I always hear that too. It has to do with the Japanese culture, their copyright laws. Again, believe it or not, Nintendo is not the only Japanese gaming company. Again, people mod other games, change them to make them playable online. People do this stuff all the time to keep communities going. Such a horrible thing for them to do, I know. Sometimes these companies are actually smart. Sometimes they are. And they let fans fix their messes for them. I mean, look at like the history of GGPO and rollback netcode. You basically have a guy saying, hey, the online for fighting games suck. I can make it better. And, he shows people this, and they go, you know what, you're right, it did suck, and you did make it better, and it gets officially implemented in games that don't want shitty netcode. Look at Sega with Sonic Mania. Their fans make better Sonic games than they do, so they let the fans make the game. Fact of the matter is, these Nintendo defenses, it's all bullshit. Nintendo has no real reason that they need to be so protective over games like Smash Bros. Brawl or Melee. I've said this before, I do get IP protection. But I get it to the level it's enforced by, again, every other company in this industry in ways that make sense. Yeah, you don't want people, say, selling games with your IP. You're not going to say Sony and Microsoft can just go ahead and make their own Mario game and sell it. I even understand with older games wanting to profit off those yourself. Again, if Nintendo was doing something with the older Smash games, if they were making a Melee HD, a Brawl HD, a Melee and HD combo pack, if that was the case, I get that they wouldn't want these free versions out there. I make the same case with retro games. If they were selling all their classics with a virtual console-like scenario, I'd understand them going after ROM sites, not wanting people to pirate the games for free. But it's like, even the Nintendo Online service that you've had for years, It supports 2 consoles, NES and SNES, and you still don't even have games like Earthbound on it. Clearly, not only are you not profiting off these games, you're not even interested in profiting off these games. So what's the problem? The key question with all of this stuff is, what is Nintendo losing by letting people, again, download these games, play these mods, whatever? I mean, what? If they weren't playing Project Plus, what? They'd be playing Ultimate instead? That actually is another weird line of logic people have with just Nintendo for some reason. Like when people like me bring up, hey, make your own Melee HD, Brawl HD, add online and stuff like that and sell it. People are like, oh, why would they do that? They have Ultimate. They'd be competing with themselves. It would take sales away from Ultimate. All you gotta do is look at what other companies do. Capcom with Street Fighter, for instance, released the Anniversary Collection with just about every Street Fighter ever made, every iteration of the games up until Street Fighter 4, added online to a bunch of them, stuff like that. When that came out, not a single person was like, oh my god, they're competing with Street Fighter 5. Why would they do this? They're going to take sales away from Street Fighter 5. Because it's not real. The people who do buy stuff like this are going to also buy Street Fighter 5 or already bought Street Fighter 5. Instead, people were, as they should be, saying it's awesome that Capcom was allowing people to experience these games on modern hardware, whether they be fans of the past games, grew up playing the past games, or were newcomers. Maybe you came on board with Street Fighter 4 and you never really got into Third Strike or something like that. Now you had a reason to. Stuff like that is a good thing, but again, it's something weird people have in their head with Nintendo. Every other company can do it, and it gets the proper response, but then when you suggest Nintendo do it, people have a totally different opinion. Once more, this happens to every company. Everyone else turns a blind eye in these instances. There's thousands of mods and fan games out there. You really think these companies need to take every single one down, or else they might lose the copyright control? If there's one Flash Mario game out there somewhere that Nintendo didn't make, they're gonna lose the rights to Mario. It's a serious question. That's what you think? With everyone else, this is sort of like an unspoken thing. People know that fans do shit with, again, every gaming IP, but they also know there are boundaries. Like I said, you don't sell the games and stuff like that, providing something that's costing the company any money, and it works out fine. And I gotta repeat, with this timing, how can you not think this feels malicious? This is a big-ass tournament that's been planned out for months. I can only imagine all the problems COVID still presents in putting something like this together. You got 2 weeks left till this thing starts, and Nintendo just comes out of nowhere and is like, nah, can't do that. I don't know how these people who surely spend tons of money on your shit aren't supposed to feel like you hate them. And as I said before, what are you getting out of it? What are you getting in exchange? You think this is gonna, sell more copies of Ultimate? I don't understand. I don't see the plus side. And I want to make something crystal clear before I close. Just like with pretty much every complaint in the gaming industry, there will always be people, without fail, who say shit like, oh, well, they're never gonna change. There's no use in complaining about it. Just stop talking about it. ChiGuy, there's no point in complaining about loot boxes in Star Wars Battlefront 2. They're never gonna take that. Oh, sometimes change takes a long time. And sure, sometimes we never see companies change in the way we want. But you want to know one thing that I can guarantee you won't get us change? Sitting back and saying nothing. Isn't it funny? These brainlets who want to tell you that what you're doing isn't going to bring about change. What they want you to do is the actual thing that's guaranteed to get you no change. I personally find it hilarious. This copyright stuff isn't a new thing for Nintendo. They didn't want Smash streamed at EVO. There was a time when Nintendo was actually very aggressive about YouTube content, would claim anything with gameplay footage from their games almost instantly. They made people sign up for this partner program to be able to get any revenue from their Nintendo videos, and they had to share that revenue, of course, with Nintendo. There were versions where you had to get videos approved by Nintendo first. There were versions where you had to associate your whole channel with Nintendo, and if you did a Xbox, PlayStation video, Nintendo still got to share the revenue. Total bullshit. People like me were screeching day in and out how it was stupid, how Nintendo is killing their relationship with fans, just sacrificing free advertisement. That's what YouTube videos are. And we had people then telling us, well, they got to do it to protect their IP, ChiGuy. Watching a Let's Play it's basically like pirating the game. That was real. I'm sure some of you guys remember people saying shit like that. And of course, we were told, they're never gonna change. That's how they are. There's no use in complaining about it. But you know what? That Nintendo copyright policy for YouTube doesn't exist anymore. Just saying. Anyway, with that, this video's a wrap. Let me know your thoughts on Nintendo's latest copyright controversy in the comments. What do you think about Nintendo continuing to fight like hell to keep people from playing their old games, from improving their old games? And how about the timing? All this money and prep just getting blown to hell by Nintendo in the final hour. As always, I'm the Shy Guy, Johnny Zakari, and thanks for watching.